and lining up at the back of the Austin A40 then. All right, we are about to see a field of Austin's Alfa Romeos and the Ford Fairline, which is on pole position alongside a Jaguar. We are underway here for the St. Mary's Trophy Part 1. It's a slow start for the Ford Fairlane. A great start for the Austin A40, the mighty and nimble Austin going side by side with the Jaguar Mark 1 of Gordon Shedden, which will have Madwick coming through the first corner now. 25 minutes and counting for the St. Mary's Trophy Part 1 underway, and it's Gordon Shedden who leads the way from Andrew Jordan.
Plenty of door banging. We know we've got some touring car drivers on there. They're going through Ford walls. We're about 4 or 5 abreast maybe going through there. Those Fords didn't get the start that we were expecting, but Gordon Shedden, he's already made a gap. Andrew Jordan's tucked in behind in the Austin A40, and then everyone just trying to sort themselves out. All different types of engines, power and abilities around this circuit.
Yeah, and they are not giving an inch, are they, further back in the field? Tom Christensen is proving a little bit of a cork in the bottle at the moment, in fourth in his Ford Thunderbird, as it all gets a little bit tight and they try and sort themselves off. That Riley 1.5, Charles Rainford still smoking away at the back of the exhaust. Saw that before on the way to the grid, but still running out there in two. Look at one of the Jaguars eyeing up a position as they all filter through and try and settle into a rhythm. The Ford Fairlane, we're looking at Steve Soper, started on pole, lost positions, now trying to catch back up, and he's now into third place. But as we come through the chicane for the first time to end lap 1, it will be the Jaguar of Gordon Shedden that leads the field of 30.
You can see a great shot there of how much more nimble the A40 is compared to the Jag through that chicane, and actually Andrew Jordan was able to take quite a chunk of time out of Shedden, but then we hit the straights, and that's where the Jaguar can really stretch his legs, and the little A40 is going to be under all sorts of pressure from the Ford of Steve Soper. Battles continuing throughout the field. We've got Jensen Button just there in the Alfa number 34, and we're riding on board with Tony Kanaan, who's out there racing here at Goodwood for the very first time.
Yeah, and getting up to grips nicely as well. This battle a little further in the pack. I think he's behind Dario Franchitti at the moment, who's lost positions. Not the best of starts for Dario Franchitti. He's got Tony Kanaan and Rowan Atkinson for company, along with Anthony Reid. Talk about that at the rear of the field, and still fighting tooth and nail. Further up at the front though, Steve Soper has now managed to get ahead of the 77. That is Andrew Jordan's Austin A40 being demoted. Steve Soper then recovering positions as Tom Kristensen, the 9-time Le Mans winner, using every bit of the track and then some to get himself up and ahead of Tom Ingram and chase down Andrew Jordan.
Those little Austins, only a 1.2 litre engine, and that was just proven there going down that back straight into Woodcote Corner, and you can see that again the braking ability of the much lighter, more nimble Austin compared to the much bigger Ford. But this is where the Thunderbird will be able to stretch its legs, and already a gap as they go up past the pit wall over the start-finish line. That gap is coming down. The Steve Soper fastest lap of the race, a 1:33.870, and the best from Gordon Shedden is a second slower than that of Soper.
Yeah, but Gordon Shedden's Jaguar Mark 1 currently leading the way. We're having a look on board the Riley 1.5 with Dario Franchitti at the wheel. He's chasing down Andy Priu in the number 4 Austin A35, the 3-time World Touring Car Champion, in front of Dario Franchitti here in that Riley 1.5. No mean feat between these two to battle hard, light, nimble, on the edge constantly. And this, the fight for 26th position.
Yeah, not a great start, was it, at all by Dario, but you can see how much work goes on behind the wheel as he takes maybe a bit too much curb on the exit of St. Mary's, and there is that gap is coming down and down and down, and Steve Soper has the legs on Gordon Shedden in that middle sector. They were about the same last time round in the first. So drifting through Woodcote Corner, stamping on the brakes into the final chicane, using all the road on the exit, I'm sure, and maybe a little bit more if they're feeling brave on the wet grass. Charging up across the line. Let's have a look at the gap now as they go back across 7/10 of a second. So it's remained the same, and actually Gordon's had a much better last sector.
Gordon Shedden, multiple touring car championship wins. It's leading the way, but under pressure here, sliding out of the left-hander. Steve Soper is all over the back of him, all to the side of him. No, not enough room through there. They both have to avoid the puddle as well. We know that Ford Fairlane doesn't like the damp stuff, and also Steve Soper will have to think about managing the brakes as well. That heavy car, when it's going fast, the brakes can take a beating. He'll have to bear that in mind, but he is so close. He can sniff the lead of this race.
He can. Treaded tyres and sustainable fuel for all cars taking part this weekend, and particularly in the St Mary's Trophy. So gaps are sort of spread out a little bit. This is probably actually I would say our closest fight out on track at the moment. There's still battles raging on Brundle and Rainford are very close together as well. But have a look. You've got to make that Jaguar as wide as possible, Gordon.
Almost being pushed down the straight, side by side. Make that a move for Steve Soper to take the lead of the St Mary's Trophy. Been coming for a little while, was waiting for the prime opportunity to do so into the final chicane. Can Gordon Shedden try anything, get a good run out on the exit? Heading down the start-finish straight towards Madrick. Steve Soper leading in the Ford Fairlane. Gordon Shedden now down to second in the Jaguar Mark 1. It's as they started this race. With less than 18.5 minutes now, Tom Christensen has worked his way up into third, and we've got a slow-moving number 8. It almost looks like a bit of a puncture. It's Romain Dumas in the Austin A95 Westminster. Looks like that front left very much punctured, and he will fall all the way to the back of the field. Let's see if he can get that back safely, so we don't have to worry about any kind of safety car or red flag, but we'll keep an eye on that as he falls to the back of the field. And last at the moment, Tony Kanaan, who has fallen back and was actually a few seconds off the back of the pack. So Kanaan bringing up the rear of the field, but as Romain Dumas slides down to the bottom, that'll be a long afternoon for him.
It will, and we saw that move. Easy move down the straight. That was the V8 5-litre grunt of the Ford storming past the Mark 1 3.4-litre engine. Just has the legs on it down the straight, and Steve Soper is opening that gap up front. A very decent first sector, and not so much a great middle one, but actually Shedden's lost a little bit of time, and that could bring Tom Christensen in, who has got past the 77 of Andrew Jordan.
Only looking at Karun Chandok getting chased down a few moments ago. Now we cut to on board the Ford Zodiac with Scott Dixon at the wheel. Dixon currently down in 22nd position in the number 26 car, the 6-time IndyCar World Champion. Looks like a little problem there for Rob Huff, who gets straight out of the way of the traffic there, pulling to the side. So we'll wonder what's gone on there, but doesn't slow down Scott Dixon one iota. He's chasing down Marino Franchitti as they come through the chicane. Marino Franchitti currently occupying that 21st position in the number 6, the Vanguard 6. The Sebring 12-hour winner. And now we cut to an even closer battle. The Alfa Romeo of Max Chilton still chasing down that Riley 1.5. And you can still see it's got smoke coming out of the back of it. Charles Rainford on board, and that's been smoking away.
He was battling in amongst the top 10, and I wonder if he's going to get the mechanical flag to come in at some point, but he has dropped further down the order, down to 12th now. He's got Chilton, as you said, weaving left to right, and he's going to bring in Andre Lotterer as well, but that is a lot of smoke that's coming out the back there, and we haven't caught up to the back of Brabham in our list of Jaguar as well.
Yeah, Max Chilton, the former Formula 1 driver, desperately trying to get past in that Alpha, owned by the Chilton family, recently purchasing that beautiful Alfa Romeo Giulietta, as I think we're going to get a slow, and that will leave Charles Rainford with some work to do now. Cutting to the other Alfa Romeo Giulietta in the field, a little further up in the hands of the 2009 Formula One world champion. Jenson Button makes his way through Madrick, being hunted down by Jake Hill over 6th and 7th position. Jake Hill in the Austin A40, and then behind them comes Emanuele Pirro, who is battling, I think that's Marcel Fassler, isn't it? Emanuele Pirro, a 5-time Le Mans winner, fighting a 3-time Le Mans winner. It's a Jaguar versus an Austin. The Jaguar, mighty though in a straight line, and all that grunt and engine power creating a gap.
Yeah, there's plenty of battles we would have seen like these in the past. And it's looking close now as he's edging ever closer to the back of the 101 of Pirro and Jake Hill. You stick Jake Hill in anything and he goes fast. You even stick Pirro on 2 wheels. He was out earlier on in the Barry Sheen in the pouring rain and was able to keep it on track and bring it home to get a podium. But Jake Hill's chasing him down now, and I'm just looking at Zach Christensen, who has got past Gordon Shedden.
Tom Christensen is coming in the Ford Thunderbird, up into second now. 1.8 seconds the gap between the leaders. These two still fighting though over 8th place. Emanuele Pirro ahead. Marcel Fassler so quick and nimble through the corners is where he makes all the gains, but he can't do it on the straights. Okay, the battle up front is now under a second. And how is this for a fight? Steve Soper against Tom Christensen. Steve Soper in the Ford Fairlane. Tom Christensen in the Ford Thunderbird. It is Ford against Ford out in front.
Tom Christensen has driven this car before, all the way back in 2017, where the footage for it went kind of viral because it's safe to say Tom was doing a lot of drifting behind the wheels. It's the first time he's back in it since then, and he's chasing down. We're going to get traffic. I was just thinking about the traffic, and the traffic is already going to play a part. He's going to be pushing Soper all the way up the hill through to Lavant.
It was Tony Kanaan in the Ford Zodiac. Tony Kanaan towards the back of the pack as we go on board with him now, trying to stay out of the way. Kanaan currently last in the field. It looks like we've lost Romain Dumas, we've lost Rob Huff, and we've lost Charles Rainford as well from this race. So just 27 cars remain. This is the battle though, once again. So the traffic didn't prove too tricky. They are still nose to tail, and Gordon Shedden is still lurking in the back, but a couple of car lengths away from this fight now. Andrew Jordan 4th, Tom Ingram 5th, Jenson Button in the Alfa Romeo, a little further adrift in 6th, keeping Jake Hill at bay. Marcel Fassler has finally gotten through on Emanuele Pirro, and as I say that, Emanuele Pirro seems to have fought back and got himself back ahead of the German. Fantastic racing as we cross the line once more. Oh, it's just over 12 minutes remaining. Steve Soper holding off Tom Christensen's advantages for now.
Yes, so we're going to have an American battle, at least for now, up the front. Christensen using a little bit more road on the exit of turn 1. The Fairlane is a bit more mainstream, family mid-sized car, more sportier compared to the Thunderbird, which is a bit more stylish, upscale personal car. And it was built, for a road car anyway, to have comfort and flair, but they're going to be racing side by side, I'm pretty sure, at some points around this Goodwood circuit, as again Jenson Button is still having a good scrap, a car that he's raced in before. He's having a great battle with a 72. That's to get again Jake Hill in our Austin A40.
Jake Hill's managed to get through as well, finally on Button up into 6th spot, but Button sticking with him. Steve Soper still 7/10 clear out in front. Marcel Fassler has now managed to get ahead of Emanuele Pirro for 8th. Behind this battle, looks like he's finally been able to put a bit of distance between himself and Pirro in that pretty cool fight that looked like it was toing and froing over the last couple of laps. Josh Cook's lost the place in the last few.
This Jack's going to get in the way. Soper's goes, thank you very much. Please shut the door behind. No, he doesn't. And through they go. So that is Rowan Atkinson in the Mark 7 as we go across the line. Just over 10.5 minutes remaining of this race, and having a look in the background, Gordon Shedden's dropping off the back, and actually he's probably going to fall into the clutches once again of Andrew Jordan. And Jake Hill's having a wave at someone on the pit wall. He's going to now try and chase down Tom Ingram, but there's a big gap between him and Jake Hill. But I think he's got more things to worry about, and that's going to be Jenson Button in the little red rocket behind.
Yeah, he's been able to get in front of Button, but has not been able to shake the British Formula One champion. Tell you who's had a good start actually in this race is Alex Brundle in the Lister Jag Mark 1. He started all the way down in 26th position and has got himself up inside the top 10. So good effort from Alex Brundle, who looks like he could be making gains as well. He's really close to the back of Emanuele Pirro for 9th spot. So that could be a nice battle to have a look at, along with this one as Jake Hill coming across Rowan Atkinson, as Atkinson in the Jaguar just gets out of the way as quickly as he can. The difference in shape and size throughout the field here at the St Mary's Trophy Part 1. Right, here we go then. What are we having a look at here? We're seeing the 55, the Austin of Tony Jardine, feeling the pressure from Andy Priu, and then behind there's the 26. That is Scott Dixon in the Ford Zodiac, having a nice tussle through the final chicane. And continuing on as we come across the start-finish lane. Everywhere you look, there are battles in this field. The 77 car in the middle here, this is Andrew Jordan, who's currently occupying 4th spot, right behind Gordon Shedden and Tom Ingram. Oh, making it nearly 3 wide. No, but it's certainly 2 wide, but the Jaguar's just able to get its foot down. We're going to go 2 wide through the slight right-hand kick. No, we're not. Very close. Andrew Jordan in the 77 trying to get Gordon Shedden ahead, but Shedden is managing to hold firm. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th, all sliding through the corner as the sun glints off these magnificent cars. These British saloon cars, well, indeed, global saloon cars plucked from retirement and going racing here. And the Goodwood motorcycle, and there's contact there between Ingram and Jordan, and that is a light gone, but a side-by-side move on the way.
The trio touring car champions in one picture, and a flash of the lights, touring car style from the 77. Tom Ingram goes across the grass. Don't do that, Tom. They're still bashing doors as they head up to Woodcote Corner. Gordon Shedden's going to be going, come on boys, keep going, it's going to allow me to escape. They've got some traffic up ahead of them, and actually just on traffic watch, just seen our leaders go past. They have got a bit of clear space, so that gap's now come down between Soper and Kristensen, but they pretty much are setting near an identical lap time. So this should, these trio cars should clear this traffic fairly easily, but we're going to have a great scrap, and we're going to check out the replay of Tom Ingram potentially trying to use, let's say, a little bit of push to pass as he goes into Lavant. Let's have a little look. Not on that shot, and he's going to try and get the up and under, and isn't able quite to do so.
And a little love tap with a few consequences, and then a bit of a mow of the lawn as well as they went door to door. Fantastic battle for the final place on the podium, which is not yet done either, as they continue to almost drag each other through every single twist and turn. This, Gordon Shedden ahead in the Jaguar with Andrew Jordan and Tom Ingram hunting him down. That Jag, though, so good when it can get its foot down and the power down, but here comes Andrew Jordan. Can he sneak a wheel alongside? They go door to door, and Tom Ingram is looking at it as well. They're working together. This is incredible.
This is fantastic, and there we go. They don't have the grunt compared to the Jaguar, but maybe they do work together. They will. It's a little 1.2 litre underneath compared to the 3.4 of the Jaguar, but Gordon Shedden just wasn't able to get the clean exit, and a little bit of working together, and they managed to sneak through.
The Austins through and up into the podium positions. Gordon Shedden in his Jaguar Mark 1 now demoted to 4th place, but what an epic battle. And tell you what, while they've been fighting, they've brought in Jake Hill and Jensen Button, who were the last two cars to come through your shot now. So we could see this go all the way to the flag.
And just to point out, look at the gap at the top. 0.3 of a second now between our front two. And as you said, yeah, it's brought in that we thought that gap between Jake Hill and Tom Ingram was just way too big. Don't be silly. Can't close down 7 seconds. And they have. That just shows how much time you lose from scrapping. And these two won't want to lose too much time. 17 seconds is the gap between Andrew Jordan and Tom Christensen, who's getting a drift going round Lavant, and then they're going to floor it down the straight, and then that heavy braking zone. I wonder how Steve Soper's brakes are holding up. There's a little bit of a flap of the bonnet there on the front of the Ford Thunderbird from Tom Christensen.
Remember, we'll have the St Mary's Part 2 on Sunday to close out the Goodwood revival with the owners of the cars taking part in the race, and then we'll get an aggregate result. But getting your professional driver the best possible outcome at the first point of asking. I think Jake Hill has just got through on Gordon Shedden into fifth, but here we go then. Barrel rolling down towards Madgwick. We go for another lap between Soper and Christensen. It's Ford against Ford. It's Fairlane against Thunderbird here at the Goodwood revival.
It is Jake Hill now. He's all the way on, going to be soon on the back of Tom Ingram, and we see these two battle it out quite often in British touring cars. Not so much this season. Jake not having a good a season in the BMW compared to Tom, who's actually fighting the championship up against Ash Sutton, and he is charging, getting in the slipstream of Andrew Jordan, who he did help out to make the move. Is he going to throw one up the inside as they go up to St Mary's? Be very brave to do so, but these drivers are pretty brave. He had a little look, trying to put Andrew off, who has turned his lights off now. He's made his way past Gordon Shedden.
That was the battle for third. As we get a look, is that a little sneaky look down the inside and a barge through. I think that's Scott Dixon, isn't it, in the 26 Zodiac Mark II, getting all crossed up, trying to make the move. A little further down, Scott Dixon fighting with the likes of Tony Jardine, Andy Prio, Neil Jarney, not too far ahead either. And Tony Kanaan and Rowan Atkinson still in this race as well, enjoying their time out there on the Goodwood Motor Circuit. 0.4 of a second between the leaders, Steve Soper and Tom Christensen. Nothing between Andrew Jordan and Tom Ingram. Jake Hill and Jensen Button are close to each other as well. Gordon Shedden's now fallen down to 7th place and losing that momentum in his Jaguar. What can Tom Christensen do here in a car that he reunites with? Hasn't driven this machine since 2017. And this car taking the win back in 2023. The Ford Thunderbird would like to have a sniff at glory this afternoon.
One thing to look, we just saw at the front of the shot there, Tom Christensen's going down the inside. I was about to say traffic could come into play in these last remaining couple of minutes, but Tom's made the jump, he's gone down the inside, nice move into St Mary's. Could this be him off? But there's that traffic I was talking about into Lavant Corner. Could play a part. Steve Soper needs to try and get back through. He squirms everywhere on the brakes. Going to get the car rotated and then back if you can, feathering that throttle. And it's longer than it looks on the entries. They drift round. And then the drag race. We've got the 1-2-1 that's made an escape and decided to go and cut some grass.
Yeah, the 1-2-1 deciding to peel off. Let's see what happened though at the starts for this change of lead then, and the 9-time Le Mans winner Tom Christensen on board the Ford Thunderbird, making the move on the touring car legend Steve Soper. But Steve Soper still with him, still keeping tabs as they come through the chicane. Now bit of traffic out in front. Is that going to affect things? Andrew Jordan sits in 3rd position in his Austin A40, some way back now.
This will be the last lap of the race because they're lapping around 1:34s, at least the leaders are at the moment, and 1 minute remaining. This traffic could play a huge part. By the way, it was Andre Lotterer that went off in the Austin A35. And having a look at the inside, it's Steve Soper thinks better of it, goes through Ford Water, and what a view we've got from on board our Riley 1.5 from Dario Franchitti, who does the right thing, gets out the way, releases them as what a shot, and he's got a great view of this battle for the lead.
Yeah, Dario Franchitti's down in 23rd at the moment, just behind his mate Scott Dixon, and ahead by a couple of laps actually Andre Lotterer, as we saw that Lotterer car heading off into the grass with Rowan Atkinson still in this one. Looks like Tony Kanaan might well have called it a day early. I think he's had to come into the pits, but we should be getting this final lap then, and where is it going to go? He bided his time, did Tom Christensen. He's got the advantage now of being the lead driver, but look at that for a bit of a traffic jam. Do they all play nicely and get out of the way? They do. One of the Riley 1.5's going to get nicely out of the way. He's looking in his mirrors. He can see him as the clock counts down to 0, and no, it's disaster for Steve Soper. Has to go wide, locks up, loses all the time, and that will be the damage done with traffic playing its part through the final chicane for the final time in this St Mary's Trophy Part 1. And the spoils go to Tom Christensen in the Ford Thunderbird. A magnificent race, a magnificent win, and it's the fourth Fairlane in second of Steve Soper. But who is going to finish in third? The two Austins have been door to door for nearly 16 laps of racing. It's going to go the way of Andrew Jordan, who just beats Tom Ingram to fourth. Jake Hill bests Jensen Button. That's your top six, and Marcel Fassler won out his battle with Emanuele Pirro. Gordon Shedden, who was running in the lead for a short while, falling down to 9th, and it should be Alex Brundle who will come home. We'll see, though, as they battle it out towards the back. They've taken the checkered flag. This further down the field, Brundle does take that top 10 position.
Yeah, he certainly does, and he's trying to get past Brabham in number 1. Jaguar, no, he has got past, should I say. Brabham there. So, mate, that's a battle for 12th and 13th as they cross the line to take the checker flag. But Steve Soper, I totally see what he was trying to do there, going round into Woodgate. He thought, well, I'm in second at the moment, got a great big gap behind. They're going to take the risk to go round the outside of the back mark of the lap car. Wasn't quite able to do so, but can you imagine if he was able to pull that off? That would have been spectacular to take the win. But fantastic racing all the way through, and as you said, Harry, Andrew Jordan just pipping Tom Ingram to the final podium spot.
Door open, let a bit of air in. I can imagine it got a bit hot across 25 minutes of racing. Of course, remember, we'll have the second of the races, the St Mary's Trophy Part 2, on Sunday, with the owners at the wheel having it out in their race, and then we take the aggregate results. But Tom Christensen doing what he needed to do, started on the second row in fourth, bided his time. Steve Soper looked like he was getting away with it slightly, but was always within the clutches. And then the 9-time Le Mans winner making the move and managing to fend him off right to the flag, a car he reunites with for the first time since 2017. These cars, Alice, I mean, so many, you know, we'd see them as saloon cars, everyday cars, family cars. Not here at the Goodwood Revival, very much the opposite.
No, certainly, and particularly the Austin 840s. There's some nice burnouts by Kristensen on the grid. The A40s, they've actually, we've got 3rd, 4th and 5th in the race here. Was very popular in the mid-1950s and as an affordable family saloon, and quite a fast affordable family saloon as well. As
they come to a quiet, look at that. You can see what it means to Tom Christensen, who climbs out. A sterling effort straight away with the celebrations. A team effort to get the car prepped and ready.
Yeah.
And onto the track.
I was fading, he was fading, so it was just about keeping him there.
Getting a little debrief there from Tom Christensen early doors. We can get the proper debrief shortly. Let's head down onto the track with Ed Foster.
Tom.
Hey, Ed.
What What a race. I mean, did you think you had enough to get past him, or was it just the opportunity arose?
Now you go straight towards the end. I mean, before the race, I would say no. Looking the times they have posted, I thought no way. But the car worked better today. There was a little bit about a drum, which was probably a little bit itching yesterday, apparently, from the mechanics. So I have to thank them. And then the weather gods, that it was dry. I would not have been here if it was wet with this car. Great, good start. I had made a promise to my son I would not touch another car. And so that played on my mind. I had beautiful fights, first with Tom Ingram. Then I believe it's Andrew Jordan, then Gordon Shetton. And then it was Steve up there alone. And at one stage I found out that there was a few places where he didn't gain, and I started to gain after, so it was very nice. And then I had all sorts of songs. Look, I was teammate with him in BMW back in the time where we should have won Le Mans together. Steve, due to his age, he's still young, obviously, he was sidelined back then. So I was thinking about, hey, I could have won Le Mans with him because at that days I did won Le Mans with him. He didn't want to give up. He was called in 6 times due to some issue with the car. So I know this man doesn't give up. He's a full racer. So I wanted to do him very clean if it was possible, and I doubted at times. It's very strong top speed. He also brakes are fading, obviously, on these cars. And then one time, I think at Fort Water, I thought, okay, now I'm just trying to make it stick. And I gained some speed through Fort Water, and then I didn't have to use much brake and no name. So I think that was the best solution to take him.
Well, Tom, it's a fantastic drive. Well done.
Thank you.
Great. Right, let's find Steve. Sorry, guys. Steve, God, it's so close. And then what happened at the last corner?
Well, I think it takes a lot to beat Tom. So Tom was very smart where he positioned his car. And we'd run out of brakes a few laps earlier. So it was either take to the grass or hit the little, I think it was a Riley or something up the back. So it was better to take to the grass. And then that was it. It was over. But well done,
So we've got it here, Steve.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But then I missed the corner. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
What's the grip like out there?
What, out on the runoff of it? Not enough. Otherwise, I would have tried to win. But, yeah, not enough. But, I've known Tom for a long time. I've raced with him many, many years ago in Japan. He's hard to beat. So, but it wasn't. The ship had a few problems.
Well, look, it was a great drive, and to see this car after the 2-year build, cracking effort, podium straight away. Well done, Steve.
Thank you. Cheers.
Right, from large to little. Let's not talking about the drivers, the cars. Andrew, these pesky touring car drivers, Tom never let you relax.
The first few it was a bit relaxing, but yeah, it was a great race. I really enjoyed it, and it's good racing someone like Tom, who's absolutely world class at the top of his game at the minute. So tries to keep me sharp a little bit, and we were he actually bump drafted me past Gordon, which was brilliant. So yeah, really happy. We had engine issue yesterday, so the guys worked really hard to put the spare engine in, and yeah, really enjoyed it.
Andrew, it was a great drive. That bump drafted down the back straight will be remembered by everyone for a long time.
He was never that friendly when I was in touring cars, but yeah, no, we worked well together there. I had a good race.
Cheers, Andrew.
Thank you.